welcome to the next episode of my Sound Design Here Create series. This is Project 3, Machine Life, Episode 2, Hum and Beep. So first, let me recap what we're doing here today. Sound Design Here Create is a sound design series where we undertake a set of projects, each of which is driven by a prompt. In this case, the prompt is a video of a pick-and-place machine, and the prompt is as follows. Here is a machine. Create the sound it makes in operation. So what we did last episode was we watched some of the video, which we'll watch again shortly, and I used a microphone to record some sounds approximately synchronized with that to give us an idea of how we might like things to sound. And I observed a few elements, for example, a background noise, the sound of the heads moving, and various things. Jumping forward, I'd like to say what I'm going to be doing today and what I'm going to be using today. So I'm going to be breaking down the sound design into two components. One of them is going to be synthesized sounds, which I'm doing today, and then I'm going to do another episode where I show you the sampled sounds. Those are samples that I'm going to take in and around the house. The synthesized sounds are going to not be saved as patches and used as MIDI in the DAW. They are going to be recorded as audio. So when we come to combine all of these things, we're not going to have a mixture of MIDI and audio. We're going to have only audio. So I thought that would bring some consistency to what I was doing. Today, I'm going to be designing a few sounds corresponding to certain elements of the video. So let's watch the video and I will talk about the elements that I'll be designing sounds for. So first, I imagined that there would be some sort of background hum of the manufacturing in this factory and the pick-and-place machines and other machinery. That might be a rumble, it might be noisy, I haven't exactly decided. But that is one element that I think I will synthesize. Another element is note the orange light in the background as the head moves across. I believe that that light is heating up the parts and the head before they get placed onto the solder paste on the PCB. So that may be silent, but I'm going to give it a noise, and it's probably going to be something of a whine. The final element, if you note the head moving around, has a platform on it which moves up and down. Now, I don't know if that platform is motor driven or pneumatic like some of the rest of the machinery, but I'm going to assume it's pneumatic. So being pneumatic, I expect an air sort of noise. It's like a hissing or a blowing or a breathy sound. So those are the three sounds I'm going to synthesize, and I'm going to be recording them and doing some very, very rough alignment between the video and the audio just to give us a feel of what's happening. But in practice, I'm just going to record a fairly long take of different lengths of the sounds and maybe the sounds played at different pitches. So I have enough media that I come back when we're doing the final arrangement and finalizing the audio that I have some choices. So there'll be a few steps that we go through. As happened last time, unlike the earlier episodes where I used Bitwig, in these episodes I'm going to be using Reaper, and that's primarily because Reaper has pretty good integration with video. So I can bring the video in on the timeline, and then I can do quite precise placement of events to allow for good synchronization. And that synchronization between the sound design elements and the video is going to be key to how this works. So, first part of the sound design. I would like to design the sound of the platform going up and down. So let's look at the synthesizer. This is, let me just check, that's an init patch. Now, I said that I want this to sound breathy, like it's moving up and down. So I think what that means then is I don't want any pitched sound. So first turn the oscillators down, turn the noise up. Now I also want some way of shaping that noise. This synthesizer has two filters. They're actually not the same type of filter, and they both have different modes that they can operate in, but also importantly, the second filter can run in parallel or in series to the first filter, and the first filter can also be bypassed if you wish. So what I'm going to do first is pick the modes of the filter. What I would like to do is filter that noise down and reduce its bandwidth. So the best way to do that is going to be to have a high pass filter and a low pass filter in series so I can cut. So let's look at the mode first. So filter 1, if I remember correctly, filter 2 doesn't have high pass. So I'm going to pick, okay, so there's only 2-pole high pass filters. So I'm going to pick a 2-pole high pass. There are 2 options. One of them has a phase shift, one of them doesn't. In practice, this isn't really going to matter for us, and it's not going to matter because this is noise going in there. That really only matters for pitched sources, so we'll just use the 0. Going to filter 2, I'm going to use, I guess, the 2-pole low pass. So therefore, I have a 2-pole high pass feeding into a 2-pole low pass. Let's play. We hear nothing. Why? Because of where the filters are set. So this is filter 2. You can hear that low pass sound. I can imagine that we should have a sort of quite a high-pitched sound here. I'm imagining, I don't know if you've ever used the airline that you use for spraying paint or you use for pumping up car tires. That's a pitch which sounds familiar to me. So now I'm going to sweep the... Just check, did I set that to a high pass? Filter 1. So by default, these filters track each other. We can decouple them, but it's not necessary for this purpose. So now I think I've narrowed the bandwidth of that enough. You'll note as I play up and down the keyboard, I don't really hear any change in pitch. Well, why is that? That's because by default, the filters don't track the key that we're played. I would like to be able to adjust the pitch of this noise because when the platform goes up or down, I would like a different tone. So to do that, I'm going to enable pitch tracking. So we go into the preset menu, down to filters, filter 1, tracking. I'll just set them to 50%. I don't think it could be 100%. So this is a fairly arbitrary decision, but I think it should be fine. So let's test it out. Oh, just FYI, we have links, so the cutoffs are linked. We can turn off linking. So let's see what happens if we turn off linking. So you can hear the high pass cleaning up that low end. And as I play up and down the keyboard, we can hear a different timbre. Only other thing to do then is I don't think I want any filter, maybe I'll make that a little. I'm going to make it a little lower pitched there. So now I just want to add a little envelope to shape it. So I think all I need is really a tiny attack, tiny release. I think that's all we need for this sound. So let's jump back to Reaper. And what I'm going to do then is I'm going to add, let me explain how this is set up first actually. So if we look in the routing, we have track 1, which is routed out to MIDI, which is the synthesizer, and track 1 has input from MIDI. I have this set to not monitor because if I have it monitoring, it will make a MIDI loop. It will send events back out as they're sent in, which I don't want to do. this is set to record presently. Track 2 is receiving audio. This is audio from the mixer, which is coming back and is routed to that track. So that's where I'm going to be recording the audio. This is set to, I should set it to free item positioning. This will mean that if I want to record multiple pieces of audio, they won't become multiple takes in one audio item. They will become disjoint audio items because I want to be able to save these independently. So I'm going to turn on free item positioning. In this case, for the MIDI, I'm only going to do one at a time, but I'm also going to turn on free item positioning for this track in case I do record a loop and I go over the ends. I don't want to have another MIDI take coming in because it doesn't really make sense for what I want to do. Now what I'll do then is I will insert a MIDI item. So this MIDI item is going to be controlling this synthesizer, and this is where I'm going to do the synchronization. So this is supposed to be when the platform moves up and down. So I'm going to go to edit this, and unfortunately there's not a super convenient way of you seeing me editing this, so I'm just not going to show it to you, but you'll see the video jogging around and you'll hear the audio. So we're coming in, nothing's happened yet, still nothing. Okay, now the platform's moved up. So what I'll do is I will, what note do I want? I'm just trying to decide how high or low pitched I want to play. I think there is good. So that is F3. Okay, so let me just add a note for now. Just drag one in. So I've got it coming in a little too soon. So I'm going to drag the note a fraction shorter. It's only very short, so let's drag that down. So let's listen. Now it's going to move back down, and when it moves back down, I want to have a different pitch playing here. So let's find where it starts moving. Around here. And let's say I want it to play 1 octave lower. So that'll be down here. Let me try and set the end of that correctly. It's about right, I think. Let's keep scanning through. It goes back up again. So back on the original note, let's make it go back up. It's going to go down again. So let's just play this little fragment. That's pretty good. So let's just play that through a couple of times. So now what I'm going to do is record an audio clip of this, but I'm not actually going to record. In fact, let me record this to audio and then record another audio clip of me playing a few notes, which we will then cut apart. Nope, forget that. I'm actually going to just take one take recording of this whole thing, and we'll just use that. I think this should be enough. So let me add any other motion that there needs to be. Okay, it doesn't move at all as far as I can see. So let me zoom this out. So that's all the sound that we need. So I'm going to record then this audio. Presently, this track is set to monitor only, not to record. So I'm going to turn that one off. I'm going to turn this one on. So this is going to record. I can leave monitoring off, and I'm going to just bring this back to the beginning, hit record, and I'm actually going to enable it to record. Did I not? Okay, there we go. Should have put that to input. So now let's mute this track. Let's not record this and let's play. So we can hear, even though the audio is not really clearly visible there, we do have it. So that's the first of our sounds recorded. So now I'm going to delete this MIDI and I'm going to initialize the patch on the synth. And I'm going to design the second of the sounds. So let's hide Reaper. So we can hear it. Okay. So now I think I'm going to do the sound of the heating device playing. So what I'm going to hopefully do then is you'll be able to hear as the audio, as the heating element goes on, we should be able to hear the sound proceed. So let's get with that. So I think this is going to be a whine, as I mentioned before, and I think I'm going to make it something relatively straightforward. So I'm on an init patch. I'm going to first set the wave, and I think triangle is a good choice here. I'm only going to have that one oscillator, no noise. This isn't exactly the sound that I want, but I think even just this is getting closer to what I'd like. So let's... I think that sounds okay. I think I'd like to make it a little rougher. So first, I'm going to add just a little noise. And secondly, I'm going to go into the effects, add a little drive. And maybe I'll EQ this on the mixer. I want it to be... So you hear really now it's just that little bit of top end. So similar shape to the sound, similar noise contour. So now let's go back to Reaper. Let's have a look at what we've got. So this can go back to, yep, record. And like I did previously, I'm going to add, zoom back in, like I did previously, I'm going to add a MIDI here, a MIDI item. Insert new MIDI item. And just like we did last time, I'm going to open this in the editor, so you won't be able to see it, but that shouldn't be problematic for us. And I'm going to go and place the sound in time with the video. So it needs to come on out there. And which note was I playing? Maybe let's play this. Oh, that's too... Okay, I think that sounds... That might be higher than that, I think. I think that's probably how I like it. So let's find where it ends. So let's try and play. So I think that sounds okay. At the moment it's a little bit loud, but I don't think I have to worry about that too much. Though there are no other instances of this sound, because I want to have some audio with a few different lengths of tone and different pitches of tone, I'm going to add a couple more. So I'm going to add another event there, and I'm going to add another one, an octave down, a short one, and a longer one. So these are going to be phantom events. That's the real one. Just so I have something to work with in the audio here. I don't want to find myself creating these sounds and not really having the audio that I need. So now I'm going to commit this to audio. So I'm going to convert this one to input. I'm going to disable record there. And just like I did last time, I'm going to record and let it go beyond the end of the loop. And now you can see that, or you can hopefully see at least, that we have two pieces of audio here. So even if I delete that MIDI and I play this, so on to the final sound. Now this sound is going to be maybe something a bit like a drone, and it's going to be a sound that's been going to play throughout. So let me get myself another init patch. Go to the oscillators. So I'm thinking what I might do is I might have 3 different frequencies and a sort of bass, a mid, and a higher one. And I might make the bass one just a little more timbrally complex, and then a little less. And now I'm going to set the tuning, and this one I'm going to tune down. I'm going to tune it down a fifth. I was thinking of tuning it down a fourth, so it's the same note as the one above, but I think I'm going to have it not be the same note. This is slightly off pitch, and this one is going to be up a fifth. Now to the mixer, I'm going to try and bring them in. Noise now. So I've still got the EQ set, which I forgot about. Let me undo that. So that, I quite like the sound of that. Like a little bit more texture, so let me add a bit of drive. So I quite like this with the chorus going. I think I need to adjust the settings of the chorus a little maybe. So let's go into the effect settings, to the modulation effects. Type is a chorus, which is good. Mode, let's maybe I like the one called Synth 2. So I think the rate I want it to be quite low. Let's see if the other one supports a lower rate. No, that's as low as it goes. Let's try the string one. How low does this go? Only 3. for now that sounds good. So I think intensity is the depth of the modulation of the chorus instances. Then the amount is like a wet dry. So normally I would do this as a sort of post-process. I think this is something I would do afterwards, but I feel like I quite like it, so I'm just going to do it now. So what I'll do then is I will jump back over to Reaper. I will zoom out a bit and I will just manually play this note and I'll just leave it droning along. So I'm not going to worry at all. Oops, shouldn't have adjusted that time window there. Okay, so now I'm just going to hold a note down. Just check. So maybe I'll play it on that C just a little bit higher. I'd like to commit here, so even though I'm not 100% certain, I'm just going to go for it. So let me now set this to record input, record armit, start this playing. And I'm going to let this play for an extended time. Probably I'm going to do something else to really stretch it out and get it to work how we want it to, but I would like at least, let's say, a fairly significant amount of audio recorded for this. I call that significant enough. So let's zoom back in and let's see what we got. So now I'm going to play this through. I'll turn the looping back on and we should be able to hear the sounds together. So I clipped down that audio just so you didn't hear the other sounds, but they're still there. Let's stop this playing and let's hide Reaper and let's wrap up. So I think now we have these samples ready. I'm going to save them. I'm going to come back next episode. I'm going to have taken my other samples and we're going to bring them all together, hopefully into an interesting and coherent whole. In any case, thanks very much for watching Sound Design Here Create. Thanks for watching this project. I hope you've been enjoying it. I hope you'll join me for some more episodes, but most importantly, I'd like to say thank you very much for being here today and joining me, and goodbye.